Hey guys, in this video we're going to be discussing Clash of Wills, the event in its entirety, not so much specifically about the Mortrim fight. And to join me to talk about this video, I've got LN Wanderer. You've probably seen his videos as well, and I'll put a link to his channel in the description below. But he very frequently puts out, really high rank scores, and I think at the moment, Wanderer, aren't you the highest ranked player on global among the legit players for Clash of Wills?
Hello everyone. First, thank you Sinzar for having me in his video. It's really my honor to have this discussion with you. And yeah, for now, yes, but it's too early to say anything.
Yeah, it's too
So we
early.
will see. We will see. Things will change because I noticed some players they really wait for the last few days to push for the surprise factor. So I, okay,
Oh, I know.
yeah.
It always seems that way. My rank is steady for like a week and a half, and then all of a sudden Wednesday afternoon I've lost like 70 places.
Yes, yes. I think it's part of the tactics whenever it comes to competitive. So people will wait for the surprise attack, and then people are like, "What is going on?" And they don't have enough time to counter attack, and then boom, maintenance, and then yeah, it's a smart way to do things also, but quite risky.
hmm Uh,
Yeah.
so, so before we start talking about some of the specific stuff, I was just curious, real quick, your opinion of your favorite Clash of Wills boss. Now that we've had four of them: Morgana, Asta, Kairos, and Mortarum. Which of those four has been your favorite of those?
I would say favorite. I would say in terms of mechanics and I would definitely go with this round Motorum because it's not. I like the dynamic AI in the sense that it reacts to what you're doing, and it really completely changes the path and how the boss will go with its AI rotations.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in terms of like overall balance, in terms of like how the players can deal with the boss and how they perform as a overall server and everyone participations, I think I would go with Morgana because I think the first one it seems to be um very balanced. There is a certain challenge, less the EX18 which has been improved, but I think that is the best in terms of like overall. Asta is way too undertuned, and Kairos was too overtuned in my opinion. Yeah.
That's surprising to pick Morgana. My personal favorite is Kairos, and I do agree with you that he probably was overtuned and harder than he probably should be for the general, populace of Brave XPS as a whole. But for me personally, I really enjoyed that challenge, and the fact that he was just so hard is the kind of content I personally enjoy. Although he was probably overtuned, for just the player base in general. But
Yes, yeah, I do agree with you on that because really, when I think about it, I was also about to mention about Kairos because to me, what is beautiful about Kairos is I've seen some discussions on Reddit about people crying out for like make the tank relevant again. It's not just about all the damage or not all the bursts, all the fancy DPS, and then we have Kairos to answer that questions. But I think the answer and the response from Gumi was just a little bit too too much for
yeah,
a lot of players to handle. But it was a beautiful fight when you really have to think about keeping your tank to survive, and then really almost I see that almost all the tank suddenly like physical tank because for a very long time people was like physical tank is so irrelevant because evasion handles everything, then we have mirage and things like that. Then yeah, so in that sense, I do agree with you.
oh yeah, and it was kind of funny the way they gave a physical tank fight, and evasion was still important even on the physical tank fight because it made you take like
Yes,
half as much damage basically because of the accuracy down.
yes, yes. That's what I think. I think yeah, I think it's a very interesting fight. And so overall, I would say out of the four bosses we had, I think three of them was like really didn't like Asta. Asta was like it's so forgettable for me
Yeah.
that really now I cannot really recall what it did, but I could still recall what Morgana did, what Kairos did, So it's just yeah. Overall, I think it's a Clash of Wills bosses are really very good response from Gumi to the trial bosses for the end game content, because I remember for a very long time, we players, we are crying out for trial bosses, and how trial bosses have like the usual one that have been ported over from JB have been so power crept that people would just like storm through with the strongest DPSs, and then we skip all the phases, and then here we have Clash of Wills. Then people start to really think up again, like it's not just all about the burst, but also you need to think how to react to different challenges. And it really to me, it really shows that Gumi is capable of doing such content when they are really committed, but of course it's no way near being perfect. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I would agree. And you mentioned that Asta was probably undertuned. Do you think the boss itself was undertuned, or do you think the problem was Sky was overtuned? If you remember, one Sky by herself
Yes.
could damage cap the
Yes.
boss. So if
Yes,
do you think,
I saw your video, and then it was very it was like, oh dude, you really like trivialize this trial. Yeah. Uh indeed, I think my guess was yes, maybe it's a mix. Now that you say it, Sky was just too powerful.
mm-hmm.
I remember I saw your video with one Sky, and most of the other units were like free EX3 units. So yeah, so Sky was too overtuned for that, and I think this is just my guess. I think they wanted to do something fancier with the zombie mechanics, but I think somehow they didn't manage to pull it off very nicely, because I remember seeing the news, and then it started to mention about zombies, and that so finally they trying to do something with a zombie. But for that fight, I think like it randomly at a very low chance I inflicted the zombie, and that was about it. Other than that, I really cannot remember what it did.
Yeah, it was it
it's
was
it,
definitely the easier of the four.
yeah, yes. But I do remember, like I still remember Morgana to this day, is like how she really like it was Gumi's like decision, like, oh, if you are not supposed to use LB, so if you are relying on like Zidane or everything, you will be screwed, because yeah, then it will buff itself and all that kind of things, and a lot of attack, and then Ling became the keys and Louise became the key and things like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So before we start talking about the current stuff, just real quick for some advice for players watching. Which of these do you think is the best modifier? And among the gear, do you think it's better to buy multiple modifiers for level 10, or just pick one favorite and then save your Xenostone for the next season? Now that we know that the other seasons are using the same stuff. So which of these modifiers do you think is better? Like, I personally would say Magisters for the chain cap, but there are some players that say Rulers is nice as well for the flat stats. Which one do you think is better, considering Xenostone is so limited?
um I would say that for the headpiece, go for the chain cap. And the flat stats, it looks a lot, but if you think about the general trajectory of how much the tech stats are increasing, and especially if you look at Carton right now, um, with his berserk and everything, his attack will increase until like 11 to 12,000 attack, and at higher and higher level of attack, the benefit you get from a flat attack like 300, it looks a lot, but actually at that high level, values is a diminishing return. So I would recommend against this, and chain cap is always the way to go. And actually, yes, and not even at this point, I think it's a little bit premature, but I'm 90% confident that even for the regalia, the armored, I'm gonna go for the chain cap as well, because my rationale is that you see Tifa, you see Carton. They are both true dual wield, and then what is the best build for them? We are trying to go for true double hand, because with these sources of chain cap, you can actually, because the main selling points of a true dual wield unit is they have a times 6 chain cap back in the days. And
Mm-hmm.
then drew double hand for a time. They couldn't compete because a lot of them only had like 4 times 4 chain cap. So it was balanced that way. And then recently, the meta has been shipped back to a lot of true double hand units that actually innately can have 5 chain cap, and with indestructible light, you can reach 6. But now suddenly you have so many more sources of increased chain cap, so you can really force true double hand, and it's just overall better. And then having more sources is always better, in my opinions. And it's never good to go for killers because killers, there are many sources, but
Yeah.
chain cap itself at this current point, we just have so many sources. Only um, chain comprehension 0.5, which is a free one. Indestructible light is gated behind Savior of Soul Lightning, and then we have 2 cow pieces. That's about it. So I that's what I'm saying. I'm 90 to 95% confident that we should go that in the long term.
Oh yeah, I agree entirely. I'm taking the chain cap on both the chest and the helm.
Mm,
Now they don't stack, but they do stack with Savior's STMR. So they don't stack with each other, but you can stack them with
yes,
Saviors and get 6 times, even on a unit like you
yes,
mentioned with Carton and Tifa going double hand. Hmm
yes. So yeah, it really make it possible, like even like for this particular clash of wills, because you say like even for example like you are running Sky, let's say you're running Sky and Carton together, so Carton will take the headpiece and Sky can easily, if the Regalia can give a chain cap, she actually use the Regalia, so you can free 1 slot of her abilities to go for other killers. So it gives you more options. Yeah.
I would agree. So viewers, Magisters, the way to go.
Yes.
Now I want to talk about something that has been a little bit controversial on like Reddit and Discord, etc., and that is the bosses, both Kairos and Morturum. They have this HP lock, which at 50% health, it locks HP and forces you to deal with the threshold and then the rest of the fight. A lot of players, like in the community, don't like this. A lot of players just don't want it at all. Other players think it should be an optional modifier you can turn on for like high score runs, but you don't need to deal with it as you go through levels 1 through 98. I personally don't really mind it too much. What are your thoughts on it? Do you think the HP lock is like artificial? Do you feel like it shouldn't be there, or do you think it does what it wants to do and like forces you to not skip the fight, so to speak?
I think I'm in agreement with you on this. I really don't mind it, but I think actually if you think about HB lock, I think it's I'm quite mixed on this, but I can totally see why a lot of people hate it because they really want an easy fight to cheese things. But in terms of design and everything, I think HB lock is okay, and not something to be so upset about, because the way I see it is right. If you are someone to develop a fight, you put a lot of heart and souls into it, and then like very intricate AIs, and then boom, the user is just like, I don't know what is going on. I just kill the boss and then finish. If I was that developer guy, I would be like, oh my goodness, why am I even trying so hard? And
Mm-hmm.
then in the long term, it really gives developers a kind of feelings like, why do I even bother? Because the users, the end users, will just like end up doing like that, and then you end up with shittier and shittier content, and you start to complain. That is one way to think about it. Second way is, I remember the time when people like complaining is like AoE is trash for burst damage because the boss, dies, and then some of the cast won't be casted. So in a way, HB locked is, in a way, it can help us actually if you burst before, especially for example this motorium. I think you and I, we both agree. I think through your content videos and my videos, we both agree that we will burst before
Mm-hmm.
the HP lock, and actually that HP lock helps because it allows you to use some of the the Firaja, whatever the spells, because all those spells are AoEs, and then if there is no HP lock, there's no guarantee that the fourth cast of your jar spell will be casted. So that's why in a way HP locks actually can help you to make sure that all the casts that are supposed to be casted are there. Yeah, so in the sense, I think it may help.
It's actually true, and now that you mention it, although some players might get upset at us for saying this, but actually, adding HP locks to like dark visions would be a very simple way to fix this problem where all these AoE chainers just can't do anything in dark visions. Like Ibarra, if you
Exactly.
use her as a thunder mage, she just can't get her quadcast off. But if it had an HP lock in dark visions, that would fix the problem. So yeah, they
Yeah.
can be useful sometimes.
Yeah, so it's really like my point is it can be situational. That's why I'm saying I'm mixed about this. For me, I personally I don't mind. The reason I'm mixed is I know that some people really hate it. But I think even the HP lock is there, at least it makes you think a little bit harder. And then yeah, in a way I think maybe they want to do it so that it drive player participations rather than like quickly log in, kill the boss, finish, never log in again for the next until the next event kind of thing. So I can understand the decision from Gumi, and I personally okay with it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And something else I wanted to talk about is another, like, this is like kind of a problem. This has been a problem with ranked events since the beginning, but it's basically like cheaters at the event. And the way Gumi handles it. Like here, for example, is a screenshot of the current top ranks in Clash of Wills. You can see on the left side. We know from playing this event, these scores are literally impossible to obtain legitimately. And you can even see the teams now. You can look on the right side, and some of these teams that are just ranked crazy high are just. You can just look at the team and see there's no way this team got this. Like, this guy doesn't even use Espers on his team. And Gumi's, the way they handle this is when a player is caught cheating at an event, they leave them at the high ranks for the whole event. After the event is over, then they'll go and purge them out, and they'll give the players a temporary removal from that event only. They don't ban the
Mm.
players. They don't even ban them from other events. For example, if you look on the left here, this third guy, DLWL Arma, people may
Yes.
remember he was ranked number one in the last Dark Visions that we had. He was ranked at the very top. He got caught after calculations. He was removed, so he didn't get the rank rewards. But the very next event, we're on Clash of Wills. Here he is again, doing the same exact thing. So Gumi obviously did not ban him. They didn't ban him out of Clash of Wills. I assume next Dark Visions he is getting that 3 month suspension from Dark Visions specifically. But
Mm-hmm.
do you think Gumi is just being too relaxed about this and like too nice? Do you think they should just ban them on the spot permanently, get rid of them forever? What do you think should be done? I personally am it might be harsh, but I think when a player is caught cheating, one strike you're out. I think they should be permanently banned from the game. The account is closed. You're done. Uh,
Mm.
how do you feel about it?
Um, I I do agree that at certain point the player should be permanently banned. Okay, so but I want to share my thoughts about this. First is like
Okay.
first, should Gumi want to ban on the spot? Um, I think um my guess is I really don't know how they catch the cheater, but it seems to me that they do I would say like they don't do preventive, they are doing remedial. So what I mean is like they don't have system that immediately like prevent people from cheating and patch all the loopholes in their codings and things like that. I think it's just too much of a task for them. That's why they decide to scan for cheaters after the fact. And that scanning maybe in terms of like manpower, in terms of like technical feasibility, it's a more uh beneficial model for them. That one I have no issue. But if they are to scan, it will take some time. And I think we, I personally, I am okay with give them time to scan and weed out the cheaters. But what I am not okay with is like you already mentioned is like the way that they apply the penalty on these is just to relax.
Mm-hmm.
And 3 months is not. it's apparently not working because we keep seeing the same people, even if they are suspended after the 3 months, they are back. They change their name and things like that, but we know it's the same people. And I think I would go for something a little bit more lenient in a way that 2 strikes, in the sense that, okay, first time you get caught cheating, you will be suspended for 3 months. The second time you are caught cheating again, permanently banned from the event. So in that case, there is some leeway for Gumi to keep the players, and we still get rid of people. I think first strike and permanently banned. Um, I would think that Gumi may not want to go so harsh from that perspective, but in the long run, yes, I do agree that these players should be permanently banned. Yeah, they shouldn't be there at all. And I think what one of the things is I like about this particular Clash of Wills is that they start to show the teams that the person did to achieve the score. So in a way, the cheaters, they will be less blatant about what they're doing, and then it's like, oh, it's not like I can hide. I don't know, like people won't know what I'm doing. So, but I don't think it's never enough. I don't think it's enough. Yeah. So at a certain point, it should be banned. And what I'm proposing is, first strike 3 months suspension, second strike permanently banned, and then we will never see the same account again. Yeah.
That sounds good because, like, for me as a player, like I try hard in Dark Visions and Clash of Wills. Like I try pretty hard and I put in a lot of work, and you do the same thing, and then you go and you look and like, for example, I think you in the game right now are ranked at like 17 or something because there's like 16 people cheating above you, and they're very obvious cheaters. And like me, I'm like around. I think at this point I'm like ranked 48 or something, but I should be like in the top 25. Because I put in the hard work, and I should be, because all these players, and of course, at the end of the event, I will be, because they do go through and purge these after the event. But during the event, like, after I just get like a new high score, I'm so hyped up, I go and check my ranking. Where did I move? Oh, I didn't even move because the person above me is using like a level 2 rain and has a perfect score or something.
Yes, I do agree. Yes, yes. This kind of like, although like after the fact cleaning is really bring back the fairness, but it takes away the feelings of players who try so hard so that you want to see your numbers actually like increase into the higher rankings. Yes, but yeah, it's really definitely, I think, because these are very blatant and obvious cheaters, so I think that some effort to actually immediately remove them on the spot is really possible. Yeah, I do agree. Yes, and then it's one of the way to do to make players feel like more motivated in pushing for rankings. Yeah, but I have to say that some of the cheaters I come to know, their method of cheating can be quite intricate. It's not as obvious as you would like. As this is a, like obvious. These are the obvious cheaters. You want clans, you can tell. But some, yes, some I'm not gonna name whom, but they are very high class cheaters. It's very believable, but actually there's something fishy going on. Yeah. So that's why I think, that's why I think the reason why Gumi is a little bit hesitant on banning on the spot is because they are feared of mistakenly and rash decision on their side and they lose. So that's why again it comes back to like what is Gumi stand on this. But I do agree with you that some banning on the spot, this kind of like no brainers kind of case, just get rid of them. If you're not sure, like you're like 80%, like maybe like you're not 100% sure about whether this one is cheat or not, keep them, sure. But like these obvious, like no, like this team you are showing to me, like the Esper,
there's no
Ifrit
way.
Ifrit and Siren at like even level 1. Yes, like 1 star, and then it's like there's no way. So that one is very easy. Like not in a million years that this one can ever win, go anywhere. So like this one, if obvious removed, but some are not as obvious. Okay, then you keep them. That's one I give it to you. Yeah, I think that is one way to actually to improve it so that players will feel more motivated, and then at least they know that like what effort they're putting in. We're working hard for something.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So enough about the negative. Let's talk about something else they've done recently, which is I'm not sure where we can show it, but they've changed the scoring. Yeah, it's probably not a no way to easy way to show it on screen. I guess right here. They changed the score. The maximum score used to be 2.14 billion. Now it's 10 billion. And as we know from testing, it's impossible to get 2.14 billion or to get 10 billion with all modifiers on 99. So no one is getting a cap score legitimately at this Clash of Wills. This means no one can share rank. So there's only going to be one rank 1 at the end. So I wanted to ask you, especially as someone that has a good chance of being that number rank 1, do you think this is a good change for the game to where you can't like get a perfect score legitimately and it's impossible, or do you think this is better this way? Like, do you prefer the old way where we had it with like the first 3 bosses, or do you like it better now where you can't share rank?
Um, without without any thoughts, I would say that I prefer a capable event.
Okay.
Even as someone who is really pushing hard for DVs, and yeah, I'm willing to go for the competitions, but even my friends who play on my level are like way higher than my level. They also share the same sentiment that they prefer something capable because they really don't like the grind and the variance rolling. Okay, but I just want to share a little bit of my opinions.
Sure.
First, although there is no hard cap, in the sense that you cannot just go to level 99 and turn on all the mods. That is a hard cap. There is actually, I think we start to realize that there is a soft cap, in the sense that like I think my current score is level 82 and 240%, and that is barely a cap. And to push for the next level of cap is to go to level 83. It's really not in term. I did my calculation in terms of the odds, in terms of the numbers. It's not happening. So a lot of the players will be stuck at level 82 and 240%. And so in the way that I my predictions is that there would be shared rank 1 somewhere in that combination of level 82 and 240%. And I don't know how many people will reach there, but there is the issue in this, in the sense that it's okay. So the reason why Gumi wants not a capable events like Clash of Wills, I think the motivations is that they really want to have competitions. You cannot really get a perfect score to get people to participate more and spend more, and then they get more profits. So that is my guess. It's just a logical deduction of what is the monetization scheme is. And with this current design, as a player, I think it's not happening. Why? Because you think about it, if they are aiming for the big whales to spend more for the competitions, it's not happening, because at level 82, if someone is to score 10 billion a cap, if you want to jump to level 83 and cap with the same bonus, you need to do 800 millions more. That is just too much of a jump. And then if someone is doing better than me, and I know my gearing is not the best, but someone who can gear to the absolute perfect, that person on a good day can get 700 millions more damage. It's not even a cap at 83. So in the sense that even if someone is way better than I am in terms of gears, but like better but not good enough to get a perfect score, and in the end still the same as I am. You understand what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah. It's not really as motivating to like pull for this and get it, because even if you pull harder for these units, it's just not going to change anything once you've reached this like soft cap.
Because it's not. He will do better than me. Like for example, I show videos in which I did like let's say I cap with a 10.1, but someone try harder, pump like me, like thousands of dollars to do better than me, maybe we get a 10.6. But 10.6 at level 82 is not a cap at level 83. So in the end, we have the same score.
Mm-hmm.
That is, yeah. So that's why the person up there, like top whales and then top players of these servers, they don't feel motivated to really push because there's nothing for them to achieve. So in a way, if Gumi is trying to aim at that bracket, it's not happening because for them, they don't feel motivated at all. And in terms of monetizations, right, those people, they already spend a fixed amount. They pull until they are happy. So that whether it's a capable or not capable Clash of Wills event, it's not gonna get any more penny out of them. For myself, it's the same because I already have my budget, and then with that budget, I really get enough to where I want to be. And then Clash of Will cap not getting me anything.
And
But then
it's the same
but
thing.
then
Same thing for lower players. Not really lower players, but players that are like very light spenders. And for the past few Clash of Wills, like people saw that Sky was what you needed to cap on Asta. So because of that, a lot of players like chase Sky specifically to get that cap. But
exactly.
and this new uncappable stuff, like there is no like this is the unit to
Yes.
enable you to cap. And I feel like having it set up that way is more profitable because like you put it right in front of you. Like for example, Carton or Oliveira. If either one of those was like kind of like Sky, where if you pull this unit and you have a good team, a good strategy, you're going to be able to realistically cap. That would make a lot more players pull for Oliveira or Sky or Oliveira or
Exactly.
Carton.
I do agree with you because yeah, they're not getting anything more from the top whales, but which I think they're trying to aim at, but they are losing a lot on those who like on the fence. It's like, what should I spend or should I not spend? But then, like you say, in a situation like, oh, if I get this banner unit, I will cap. There is something for them to achieve. Then they will start to throw in more like spend more in this game so that they can achieve something. But then in a situation like this, like when they spend more, there is no clear achievement or clear path for them to anything to gain. They will still be like lost in the bracket of like thousands of people or like few hundreds of people. That I don't think anyone would spend like a couple of $100 just to be top 500. No, right? I don't think so. I don't think so. If like you don't normally spend, then you spend just to end up like rank 500. It's not a good motivation, but like normally you don't spend, but like, oh, if I drop $50 and then I got Sky and then I got rank 1, that is a different story. So it really motivates those people actually to spend more. Yeah, and then to me, not capable Clash of Wills is it doesn't seem to be profitable for Gumi at all. And yeah, and then in my opinion, it's like what season 1 I really love it is that it gave a very good balance between the two events, because what distinguished Clash of Wills from Dark Vision is Dark Vision is an old event, and then it's like it's very highly competitive, and then a lot of people feel very demotivated. So then we alternate between these two events. So Clash of Wills becomes something different, something that we can refresh our minds. So we just try the best strategy and cap, and then we relax a little bit in between so that we can push for the next Dark Vision. So it's a very good alternation between the two, so that it's changing pace. For myself, it's like I just finished the last Dark Vision, and for the record, I roll Odin at least 200 times.
Wow.
Yes. So that's why I'm just saying imagine my mind state starting from Odin to 100 times rolling and then transiting into this Morturum.
And it's the same thing.
I really don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to grind another few hundred times just to get that variance again. No, that's why to me Clash of Wills is something I look forward to. It's like, oh, it's something refreshing. It's something like very challenging in terms of mechanics. So I need to learn the boss, come up something a little bit like unorthodox, and play around with the units. And I cap, then I can relax. Like for someone like me, it's a very good change of pace, change of play style, and then I think it's a very good balance between DV and season 1 Cal. But then suddenly season 2, this Motorim, it's like, why is it like this? And yeah, and I do believe a lot of my friends who play on the same level are way more. Also, they have the same thoughts. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And having a capital as well, it gives you that goal that's possible to reach.
Exactly.
And once you hit it, like you feel so elated, like I put in all the hard work, I accomplished my goal, I did it. Whereas the current one, it's like the goal is impossible to reach, which just doesn't feel that great.
I think the goal now for a lot of players is to quickly cheese it so that they can roll for the red pearls. That is the goal.
Oh yeah, do the quick clear and get the pearls and just be done.
Yes. And then I'm like, that is so sad because season 1 was so good. It was capable, and then there was a lot of rooms for like people to try alternative teams and bring in their favorite units. Yeah, and then I think it was perfect design, and I don't know why this sudden change, and I don't get it. And in terms of my understanding, I don't see how this new model will get them more benefits.
Oh, yeah. And just to touch on that same area, my next topic I wanted to talk about is because you can't perfect score the max modifier at max level, it's had a side effect of now the best way to run the fight is like level 81 or 82 with a lot of the mods turned off, and that's leading to a higher score, which it's very weird, and it feels like it wasn't intended that way. But now, instead of needing like EX16 on the hard level of 99, it's better to go with like an EX12 team on 81. And that just feels really weird. I think that was an unintended side effect. Do you think they're gonna like adjust it, or should they adjust it to where it's always best to run on 99, like because of the score curve? Do you think they should make it to where 99 is always the best no matter what? Or do you think it's okay for lower levels to be worth more points than higher levels, which just seems strange?
I think you get a point right there, because my understanding is the original EX level. The reason EX level was there is so that people will start chasing for higher EX level units on banners, so that they can unlock all the modifiers. So in that way, they feel motivated to pull more. But then the moment you start to realize that, oh, actually you don't need like 18, like 12 is the best you can go, there is already something like not going right in the original direction that they meant it to be. So someone can just bring I think they can just simply bring 2 7-star units and still can turn on all the 12 mods. There is something wrong there. So, and I think the main issue is that the increment in score from level to level is way too low. Yes, because
Exactly.
if I remember correctly, it's like going from level 81 to level 99, the increase in score for higher level is only like 10,000 points. And then but then right, the boss double the defense spirit. It's just ridiculous. So there is no point for you to go really high that way. So I think they really need to retune how the score for each level and the increment so that it's a much better design. Because if your best score is you have like 20 level for Echelon 5, and your best score, and most of the players best performers are stuck at the first few levels, that means you have unused design for like 18 or 19 levels. There is something wrong in terms of design, in my opinion. Yeah, it's unused design. So it's definitely just go back to the cap.
I agree.
Yeah.
And
I really it's really confusing for me. Like, I'm trying to understand, like, why are they doing this?
Oh, I know. And something else players have asked about, or asked for a change, is we still have like the Dark Vision's criteria of max damage in one turn, and that's like the only real scoring criteria. The rest of it is all pretty much a given. It's just max damage in one turn. Do you think there's any way they could do future bosses where this is not a score. They could find a different way to rank the fights, like survive for so many turns or take less damage? Or do you think just the max damage is going to be there always, no matter what?
Um, from the perspective of pro players, as a players, I always want something changed. Like the yes, we shouldn't have the damage. It's not always about the burst. Sometimes I think like we should have like criteria about like damage taken, or like you can take into like how many morels. And I think we do have more criteria, but they are not active. Yeah, that is totally possible to really change the pace, not just meta DPS and the best shiny things, but that would be dreams. I would love it. I would love it in a DV that we can forget about the score, but it's about something else. It's about surviving. It's about doing something more fun, not just the biggest burst. But I think in terms of Gumi, whether they will implement that, I seriously doubt it. But we can always hope. I think.
The problem is the game is kind of designed at this point, like the core of the game is designed for bursting, and I would like some changes, but at this point it's probably just not going to happen until like Brave Exvius Part 2 or something.
I guess so, because I think the whole points, and I think I noticed as a part of like players common mentality is they want big numbers.
Oh, they do. They do.
Yeah, they want big numbers. So like I spend so that I can flash my 10,000 attack units. I can flash look at my burst damage. It gives people some feelings about it. So that motivates a lot of people to pull, and so that's why I think it's very hard to get rid of the burst damage. But I think one thing that I really like about Clash of Wills is that they took away the damage taken. Thank goodness.
That is a good point, and that's something I want to talk about next, is the damage taken. Now, it is true that there's no penalty for damage taken, but I feel like this boss has taken a step backwards, where Kairos, you really tanked all the damage with a bulky tank, and you mitigated it, and that was great. This one, it seems like the goal is to reduce the damage taken to 0. Even though it's not a score, you kind of almost have to survive, because if you don't, some turns the boss like cures his breaks, and then if you're not immune to damage, you're just dead. So do you think that's a bad design, or do you think that's okay to be able to reduce the damage taken to 0?
To me, damage taken, yes. In terms of Kairos, is the way I see it, I welcome different styles of damage taken. So to me, Kairos was a pure tanking trial that flashed DV competitive events. This one, I think they took a different approach, in which the boss has certain AIs, and then to really counter us, and then it has zombies and things like that. To me, I'm not particularly negative about it. I welcome a different approach, more diverse ways. Yeah, and then I think this boss, as compared to Asta, which also does zombie, I think the zombie execution in this one is done better. Although I just find zombie in general is not a very nice mechanics.
Oh yeah.
It's just I would say that Gumi has been doing way better job in executing zombie. Better than Alin did for the design, for the trials and the bosses. But in my opinion, I would just say, if you already start with a rock, no matter how you polish, it's not going to be a diamond, so just drop it.
Gotcha. Makes sense. And because Halloween is now going to be over soon, we're probably not going to see zombie for a while, but
please.
you never know.
Yes.
So now that we've covered this parts about Clash of Wills we know, I kind of wanted to talk about maybe some suggestions for Gumi. So this is like just hopeful, and I've written down just some ideas for Gumi for future modifiers because currently the modifiers are pretty boring. It's like increase the boss's health, increases bulk, increases damage, the end. It's a little boring, I feel like. So I've written down just some suggested modifiers, some ideas, and you can from maybe give some Gumi ideas or maybe get your idea. Do you think these are like good ideas? These are terrible? My idea would be you are not able to turn on every single modifier. Like turning on the full list would be impossible. You would have to pick and choose and mix and match some various modifiers. So I've just written down some ideas like, bleeding. It gives you a damage over time that just slowly ramps up. You have to start stacking more and more mitigation and win beforehand. Or something like you can turn on Enrage. These are optional, keep in mind. Now the boss ignores Provoke. So your whole team has to be able to handle the boss's attacks or ignore his cover. And even some of these, I even went kind of crazy with, like Cloned. You can now fight 2 copies of the boss at the same time, which would obviously increase the damage by twice, but then you can AoE for more damage. Just some ideas. So do you think anything like this is possible, or are the modifiers always going to be just more damage, more bulk, the end?
I do agree with you that like the modifiers, the bonuses, and the challenges are a little bit monotonous for now, and I find this list is beautiful actually, because some of them are like very interesting. Yes, for example, like cramped, like maximum party size of 5 is a very nice idea actually. Like going handicapped with 5. Yes, and then permanent. Yes, all these are like, all these are very good ideas. I'm definitely interested in like having these challenges as bonuses, and then I'm totally in agreement on this, and I think some of this can even part of the boss AI, because I think Gumi started like to introduce morale skills for the boss. I think all these actually can be part of it also. I think. Yeah. Why not? Yes. And then I think like Demon's Burst Gauge start every turn empty. Yeah, I think all these are very nice idea, although some of them are a little bit challenging to deal with.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
yeah.
And then that could be the optional mod. Like for example, like stunned, your unit can only act one every other turn. That would be extremely challenging. But that could be worth a lot of points, and if a player was able to use strategy and pull it off, they get rewarded for it, which is, in my opinion, a whole lot more fun than, I turn on the bosses at 20 more defense.
I agree. Yes, I agree. We can have like more choices in terms of handicapping yourself, like reducing your resistance to elements, for example. Like here you have like boss have permanent accuracy. So like all these, yes, there should be more, so that, I think this is a very good ways to I do agree. Gumi should look into this and give us more bonus challenges. So like even like the time people like trying to figure out what is the best combination to go itself will drive more participations, and it make it more challenging. And it really, rather than, just make it uncapable and people like, what's going on? And then I should try hard, I should try not. But yes, I think this is a beautiful idea, actually. And Gumi, if you're watching, please take this. Give it some thoughts to make it more fun.
Exactly. Just more interesting than just, damage up, damage taken down. That's just, it's... I always prefer when the fight changes the strategy, because the boss having more defense is not changing your strategy at all.
No,
it's just lowering your damage.
Yes. In some situation, it does change a little bit, but as a big picture, it doesn't change anything. But I think this would really change your strategy a lot, and I really agree. And yes, I don't know, I really love your idea of maximum party size of 5. That is really interesting idea to go.
Yeah. And,
yes, that is very easy to execute also. Yeah, so they should think about this and then give us more bonus challenges and something to, yes. In terms of design this season 2 part 1 for Motorim, I really don't like it. I really don't like it. Not just the part about not being able to cap, but it just an example of one step forward, 3 step backward with this one. So they should really revise it. And yes, this is a very good list to go.
Okay. And do you have any maybe modifiers you want to throw out there, an idea, or I know I kind of dropped this on you last second. I actually had time to prepare for it. You really didn't. But do you have anything in mind? Maybe you want to suggest as a modifier?
Yes. So I think I mentioned one like you imperil yourself to elements and party size of 5 or even 4, so we can change this because I think some modifiers can have different version of it also.
Mm-hmm.
Then yeah, I think you covered quite a fair bit. You really have, or maybe you can have like modifiers that you give yourself a permanent break.
Okay, so
I don't know.
stats down. Yeah, that's a good one. So you would have a
Yes.
permanent stat down. That's actually a good idea. Mm-hmm.
Yes, because permanent stat down really change the way you gear your units also. Because it really changed your optimal gearing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. I think this one mostly we float the ideas for them to things, and then the math guys and Gumi will do their job to figure out what's the best way to go. But yes, I think it's a beautiful idea and they should do something about it.
Okay. Hopefully they take some of our ideas, some of the ideas from the community. There's also been a whole lot of suggestions on Reddit that Gumi probably is aware of. So hopefully they take some suggestions from maybe from us, from Reddit, from Facebook, etc., the community, and make some improvements for November when we get the next Clash of Wills, or soon.
Yes. Yes, I do agree.
Okay, so I think that mostly covered the stuff I wanted to talk about. Is there anything else about it you wanted to mention before we end?
I think we cover quite a fair bit of ground about our thoughts about Clash of Wills and everything. So I think my last word is just that hope that Gumi will take all this feedback and really think about how they want to do the next Clash of Wills, or maybe the Clash of Wills after that. Because I understand that it will take time for them to change and things like that, but at least make changes or at least communicate with us about your plan. Maybe like, they are, at least tell us, like, you are revising and listening to us. Maybe it's not happening to next Clash of Wills because not enough time, things like that, but at least communicate us more so we know that you still care and then doing changes. Don't just keep quiet. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for joining me, Wanderer. I'm going to put links to your channel down below so people can check out your videos, including I think you posted at the current time your #1 video, didn't you? With and you even used Oliveira. I was surprised at that. Like Oliveira making the debut on the rank 1 clear. That was nice.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It was. I was incubating the ideas for quite some time, but before maintenance, I couldn't really make the composition work. But thanks to Carton Drop, and he has some things that it made my original ideas became reality. So I was very happy in the sense that I could push that one out. Yeah, and thanks for having me, and currently my ranking will drop for sure, so just don't call me rank 1. It makes me feel very nervous. It's like, yeah, because I know that there are a lot better players than I am, so I feel, to be honest, I feel very humbled to by a lot of them, so yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens
Yes.
after maintenance starts on this week. So, all right.
Yes.
I'll see you
All
guys
right.
later, and see you later, Wanderer.
Okay.